Right, good morning, everybody. So, we finished first lesson and the questions also. Did I start the second tube with you? Yes, I think we have done 20 questions of that, right? Am I correct? This one. In this one, did we start this one? How many questions we did? Up to 20. Or 15. Sarah, can you remember where we stopped?
Last we discussed the camps, the outdoor camps and the games.
Then this tube we did not start. We started it.
Started, sir. Yeah.
Question number?
We'll have to go from foods, 21.
Page number 2 also we finished it.
Yes, sir. We should start from 3, sir.
21.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what we do here. So today, if you help me to finish this, so I have right. So then we have 70. Sorry, we have 60 questions. Yes, 70 questions. So if we can finish the 70 questions and the possible questions from that, so that means we can finish the second lesson also. So we will try to do as far as possible because my target is actually within 1.5 days finishing one lesson. So then we can finish all the lessons before the term test. So here now, I have sent you this tube also. I think you have downloaded tube 3. So in tube 3, all the questions of this lesson is there up to 70. So there are 70 questions, short questions for the second lesson. Then I just sent you this one, model questions. There are 4 model questions that can be given from this lesson 2. That also I have sent. So then after discussing all these things, everything will be finished. So that means I am not going to MCQs because short questions means MCQs. So here when we do this one, the lesson will be finished. Sometimes we may not finish everything, but we'll try as far as possible. So all these tools I have uploaded to the website. So normally every day, like you just see, if there means before the day of the class, like you see whether there are new tubes or not. So then all these tubes we need to complete them. So I'm going to prepare a group, and to the group I'm going to send a message when a new tube is uploaded. Okay, so right, however, now we start from here, from the 21st question here about the food type. Okay, so here name a type of food which was available in the environment in 20, and they had used in order to get protein, like that. About the food habits, right? So now I'm going to use the whiteboard to discuss about the food habits of the prehistoric man, Stone Age man, right? Okay. So actually, these Stone Age man of Sri Lanka, they have adopted to the food which was available in their environment. So it was food. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Right. So to get protein, they use what? Fish and flesh. So what are the fish type that they were using? We call it as Tithya. So Tithya is a Sinhala name. This is a very small fish type normally living in wet zone reservoirs. So other than that, flesh of animals like black bear, like deer, like porcupine, like monkeys, squirrels, so many types of flesh of the animals available in their environment, in their forests. Okay, so this is the protein. So then carbohydrate. So to get carbohydrate, the main food types that they were using were wild plantains. Wild plantains. So this is not the banana type that we use normally here in our environment. So this is something like that. In Sinhala, we call it as aticale. Aticale. So this is full of carbohydrates. So normally they are grown in forests, and it is a high carbohydrate source, so very difficult to eat even. So that's why common people are not using these wild plantains. And seeds of wild breadfruit. Okay, so seeds of wild breadfruit. So they are the main two types of food items that use carbohydrate and that used by the Stone Age man to get carbohydrate. Other than this, some yams they were using, and even that cacuna seeds, even they were using kitul seeds. Okay, kitul seeds, cacuna seeds, kitul seeds, and kernel of dothal. So now see here. So what is dothal? Dothal is a kind of fruit, and inside part is known as kernel. Now in coconut also we eat the internal parts. That's also known as kernel. So kernel of dothal. And the most preferred food item of the Stone Age man was oysters. So these oysters means actually not the sea oysters, lagoon oysters, and tree oysters. Now here actually tree oysters means who? They were the snails. So they were using snails. So this is the most preferred food item of the Stone Age man. Now see, this is what? This is the food style. Normally, they can give you a question related to this Stone Age man about food. Sometimes they may give you a question exactly about food. So then under two headings, so then you are writing these two. What is the first one? To get protein. Second one, to get carbohydrate. Okay. Sometimes they can give you question food style, implements, and the lifestyle. Okay, so that means how they lived, communal life. So with that question, we will discuss at the end of this lesson. So this is about the food style. Right, now once again, I will recall this. To get protein, fish called Tithya, a small fish type living in wet zone reservoirs they were using. And even flesh of animals like deer, monkeys, squirrel like they were eating. And even to get carbohydrate, main two food types of wild plantains, aticale in Sinhala we call, and seeds of wild breadfruit. So that they were baking and eating. So using fire. So even to get carbohydrate, different types of yams, cacuna seeds, kitul seeds, and kernel of dothal they were using as well. The most preferred food item of the Stone Age man was oysters. There are two types of oysters, lagoon oysters and tree snails. That means tree oysters we call, or tree snails. So this is the food style. So when you write a paragraph on this, that is the answer for this food style of the Stone Age man. Okay, now we'll go to the questions. Here we can go to this question from 21. So I'm not going to give you a time to write answers by your own because it takes time, and because of the time problem, I'm just giving the answers. Okay, right? So you just have to complete your notes, right? So now we'll go to this one. Okay, so 21. Name a type of food which was available in their environment in plenty and that they use in order to get protein. Answer: small fish type called Tithia that lives in wets on reservoirs. 22nd question is actually not related to this lesson, so by a mistake I have included it. What is the name or used for the sources that any writings are found? So that was a question belonging to previous lesson. So when I was changing this tune, by mistakenly, I have included. So don't write any answers for the 22nd question. 23. What are the main food items used by Stone Age man to get starch? Main two food items: wild plantains and wild breadfruit seeds. Wild plantains and wild breadfruit seeds. So when writing this also, you have to write in that. The main food items used by Stone Age men to get starch were wild plantains and wild breadfruit seeds. 24. What place provides evidences about wild breadfruit seeds that were baked and eaten, which were belonging to the time period before 12? This is wrong. It must be 12,500. Make it correct. 12,500. Okay. So normally about the food style of the Stone Age man, mainly evidences are found from Kitulgala Belgium. This is the main place where evidences about food style can be found. So from there they have found some evidences about consuming baked breadfruit seeds. That means now this was before 12,500 years. That means we did not find any burnt or baked wild breadfruit seeds from that place. Such a long time that baked wild breadfruit seeds cannot be lasting. Evidences about using that have been found from Kitulgala Belgium. So in your answers, you can include this evidence also. Including evidences, including examples, give you more marks. Then what food is preferred by the Stone Age man and what were the varieties? Oysters. What oysters? Lagoon oysters and tree oysters. Tree oysters means who? They were the tree snails. They were the tree snails. So after discussing this, I will show you how a question may come from the Stone Age man. So only 4 questions can come from this second lesson. So we will discuss those 4 question types. Then you will be okay with the paper. Then 26. What are the only proof that exists to know about the technology? So that we are not going, only these are the questions related to food style. Then we will go to technology. Then we will go to technology. Finished writing. So shall we go to the whiteboard to have a summary on this technology?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to whiteboard then. Sarah, sorry for that. I did not check your answer still. You have sent me an answer, written answer, so I will just I'll check the answer tonight or today evening, and then I will just send you the marks. Okay. So these days little bit busy with some works. Okay, so that we'll go to this whiteboard. Now see, implements. The only proof about their technology is only the tools. What tools they were using? Stone tools.
Stone tools.
Yeah, stone tools. So stone tools mainly two types. What are the two types? Anyone can give the answer.
Micro stone tool.
Yeah, micro stone tools and large stone tools. So once again, micro is divided as geometric, micro.
And non-geometric.
Yes, the other one is non-geometric, micro. So why we call this as micro stone tools? They are like 2.5 centimeters. They're like, this is the size. Okay, so 2.5 to 4.5 like so. We normally tell 2.5. So then geometric means they have been given a geometrical shape. Non-geometric means they were not given any geometrical shape. So geometrical shape means maybe like this, or maybe circular, maybe like this. No. So here non-geometric. So mostly they have used non-geometric tools. And they were used for what? Chopping.
Cutting, chopping, and digging.
Yeah, cutting, scratching, like those things. Now, what they were using, so using granite, they cannot make micro stone tools. Why? When we make a smaller something using granite or quartz, it is easily breakable. It is easily breakable. So, more what? More alabaster. More alabaster had been used to make these micro tools, and less what? Kahanda stone. Yes, Kahanda stone had been used. So Kahanda stone also a very, now alabaster is something very strong. You can make a small tool. Now granite is not actually so small, so strong. So when you make something like 2.5 centimeters, a very small one, using granite, it is easily breakable. So they use alabaster and Kahanda. Okay, so more alabaster, less Kahanda. So alabaster is something that marble, that one. So here large stone tools like grinding stone, axe, like they were using large using granite and quartz. So here granite, quartz they were used. So now here I told you, if they give you a question, normally how they give you a question from the Stone Age man, explain communal life, food style, and technology of Stone Age man. Now, if you write a paragraph on this, so there is a paragraph about technology. You know that technology they don't give as a separate question, but food style that can be given as a separate question. 2016 O-level paper, they have given food style as a separate question. Explain the food style of Stone Age men under two headings. Then consumption of flesh, that is to get protein, to get carbohydrate, you can divide. Okay, even using salt. So here, this is not given as a complete question. So only half of a question. So explain the technology. So then you are writing one paragraph. Okay, now we'll go to those questions and we'll discuss the said question as well. See this one. Right. What are the only proof that exists to know about the technology of Stone Age man stone tools? What have been used to make micro stone tools? More alabaster and a little of Kahanda stone. More alabaster and a little of Kahanda stone. Next one, what were the two types of micro tools? Geometric micro tools and non-geometric micro tools. I told you mostly they have used non-geometric micro tools. If any extra note, if you want, you just can write, okay, near to the question. So then what type of tools has been made mostly and for what they were used? Non-geometric tools used for scratching, digging, cutting, and chopping. Using what type of stones? Large stones were made, quartz or granite. Quartz or granite. Quartz or granite. Right. So then we'll go to 31. Without going to the whiteboard, mention 3 features of the nature of the physical body of a Stone Age man. Can anyone tell me the height of a grown male and height of a grown female?
Grown male 174 centimeters and female 166 centimeters.
Very good. How about the volume of the brain?
Brain 1600 and 920.
Yeah, 920 for females. And what is the lifespan?
35 to 40 years.
35 to 40 years. So that we are writing under 3 features here. So when I make these short questions, I have included every and each corner of the list. So then nothing is there more than this that may come from MCQ. So we should not once again discuss MCQs. Enough studying this one for MCQs. Every and each corner had been included. All the points are there. So 70 questions from the second lesson means every and each corner, every and each point had been. I have not left anything. So once again, no need of reading those lessons in the textbook. Throw it away. Just reading and studying these questions enough. Shall I move on? The lifespan is 35 to 40 years.
Answer.
Okay. From what place a skull of a man fell for? Now that I'm just going to whiteboard once again to discuss about the burials. So write this and we'll go to the whiteboard to discuss about the burials. Then we'll go to one question. However, we have discussed all 4 questions. Remember from the for the second question, sorry, third question of your term test paper, exactly 1 or 2 questions out of those 4 will be coming. So I know that there are grade 11 people also here with me, but only grade 10. So for them, it's these questions are the questions that can be given to your O-level exam also, but the structure will be a little bit different. That organizing questions as the second, third, fourth, fifth, that will be different, but the same questions may come. They can't give you any other question for O-level. Okay. Sarah, if I do like this, is it okay? So sending this completed tube to your group, then can you get a preview?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
It's better, no? Okay.
Yes.
So even for the people who joined newly, they also can get it then. Did everyone join the group? I have created a group. I can remember that Sarah and Imar and Hani and 3 or 4 people I just visit also I included. If anyone did not come to the group, please send me a WhatsApp message mentioning that to include into the group. So then I will send all these completed tubes to that group. Then you can just get the printout. Okay? That's easy. But remember, though I sent it as an additional facility for you, don't be lazy and without writing, don't keep it. Okay, so writing on the spot is the most advantageous. If anything missed, you just can use that printed, sorry, fill paper. Okay, right. Okay, so now I'm going to write for once again. Okay, here. Now the barriers. Okay, so Imari is asking what is the basic structure of a historical paper. Okay, I'm going to show you that first. Yeah, please WhatsApp me after the class. Okay, not now. Right. So now grade 10 paper and O-level paper. So first question, it is compulsory. It is compulsory with math marking and some short questions. So we cannot say what questions we come. Second question, grade 10, first lesson of grade 10. And O-level paper, once again, first lesson of grade 10. Third question, grade 10, second lesson of grade 10 paper. Here, O-level paper, second and third lessons of grade 10. Now see the difference. Here only the second lesson. Here second and third lessons. Fourth question, third and fourth lessons of grade 10. Here, fourth, fifth, and sixth lessons of grade 10. 4, 5, 6. Here 3 and 4. Fifth question. Here 7 and 8 lessons of grade 10. Here 5, fifth lesson. Yeah, even 6th lesson also. Grade 10. Sixth question. Here 7 and 8 lessons of grade 10. Seventh lesson question, 10th lesson of grade 10. Eighth question, 9th lesson of grade 10. So this is world history. Okay, this is world history. And when we come to O-level paper, the sixth question, 10th lesson of grade 10, as well as second lesson of grade 11. Both. This one, 3, 4, 5, 6 lessons of grade 11. Now see the O-level paper, only 2 questions from grade 11, 4 questions from grade 10. Here, world history. Here in grade 10, they have only 1 question, but in grade 11, there are 2 questions. 8, 9. This is the 9th lesson of grade 10. And the first lesson of grade 11. And here the 7th and 8th lessons of grade 11. Okay, so here you have to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of 7, 5 questions we have to select here. And 1 question from here, exactly this question. Here you have to select once again 5 questions and 1 question from here. So then it is 6 questions. Now, can you get this structure here? Did you get the structure? Got me? Imar, you got the structure? Bit different. So here only grade 10, but here 10 and 11. So if you want, I have a structure of this printed structure. I will send you that one to your WhatsApp group to see it. Okay, right. So however, now we'll go to these barriers. The first method of the barrier was what? So they were digging. Yeah. So they were digging a small pit inside the cave with a piece of horn or piece of bone and keeping the dead body and covering it with what? Garbage. So this is the first method. Okay. Second method, Now they were not living mostly in the cave, inside the cave, so that they can keep the dead body like this. Otherwise, it's becoming spoiled and giving the odor, so no one can live. So mostly they were living outside, but very rarely in rainy season only they live. So when they started living most of the time in the caves, they cannot bury the dead bodies inside the cave. So what did they do? They buried outside. After that, after sometimes they brought the bones after decaying like 3 months, keeping like 3 months, bringing back the bones. Taking the skull. In the skull, there are protruded surfaces and rough surfaces and protruded parts. These protruded parts and the rough surfaces, once again, they were rubbing against another stone and making smooth. The skull was made smooth by rubbing against another stone. So then the protrude parts and rough surfaces had been vanished. After that, on one side of the skull, they were applying a grinded stone. We call it as brown stone. Grinded stone they are applying on one side and reburying in shallow pits around their settlements. Reburying this stone, the bones in shallow pits around their settlements. So this is the second method. First method, second method. So we found like this. From Pahiyangala cave, we have found the skulls we painted with brown stones. From where? Pahiyangala cave. Pahiyangala cave. And in Ravana cave, we have found the skulls profiliated, means they have made some holes on this. So from Ravana cave only that had been found. So in MCQ they are asking from what place the skulls profiliated had been found from Ravana. From what place the skulls painted with brown stones found? Pahiyangala. So Kuruvita Batadombalena in Kuruvita. So here what we find, the skeletons buried were curled and buried. So now like this, curled and buried. Maybe because of less space, curling and burying, bending and burying. So that had been found from where? Batadombalena, Kuruvita. Kuruvita, Batadombalena. So this is the burial types. Always buried the dead bodies. Initially, they were digging a small pit inside the cave, keeping the dead body and covering it with garbage. This method they used because they were using the caves less time in the year. Most of the times they were living outside caves, in outside camps. Second method, when they started using the cave for a long time, so they buried the dead bodies outside. After 3 months, like after decay, bones are brought back. On the skull, the protruded edges and the rough surfaces had been rubbed against another stone and made it smooth. On one side of the skull, they applied grinded brown stones and reburied in shallow pits around their settlements. So we find these things from Pahiyangala and Ravana profoliated skulls and Purvita Bhattadhamana skeletons were curled and buried. I think understood. Any question? You can just raise any question if you want.
So if a question was asked randomly, evidence of skeletons, then we can write Ravana Island, sir.
Yeah, Ravana. Just correct. Okay, Ravana. Right. So now see this one, the answers. From what place skulls of man properly dividing into two was found Ravana and the caves? From what place several parts of human skeletons painted with red oak were discovered in the caves? In what cave skeletons were discovered burying after curling? Kuruvita Bhattadhamana. So now the Stone Age man is over. Now we can go to the question from the Stone Age man. Remember, most of the questions for all paper given from grade 10, not from 11. Huh? Grade 10, 60%. Grade 11, 40%. So the most important syllabus is 10. But people think that most of the students, 11 is important and they start going to classes in 11, neglecting 10. But 10 comes mostly. So you are wise, because at least at the last moment you wanted to cover up the grade 10 things. So then we'll go to the essay type question that can be given from this one. Stone Age man. So only one question can be given. So I'll write that question on the board. So you write that question. Okay. Right. So this is the question that we are going to discuss. See the board. Explain the lifestyle of Stone Age man under communal life, food style, and technology. Explain the lifestyle of Stone Age man under communal life, food style, and technology. So if anyone missed the class or came late, they please ask for the recording, because I'm sending you the recording. Okay. So now, like Hani just joined, I think. So you miss 1 hour. Like, so then please ask for the recording. So I'll be sending you the recording.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay, this is the question that we are going to discuss. Where is this question? This question is in this one. This question is where? In this one. So I have sent you that to model questions. Grade 10, lesson 2, ancient settlements, right? So see, about the prehistoric man. Here, this is the answer, right? So did you write that question? So please write here the question. So there's a big space here. Write that question here. I'll show you that question once again, the board. Right here, the question. Shall we discuss question? Right. Now see, this is the question. Okay. Now, before I show you the answer, this is the lifestyle of the prehistoric man. Here you can write the communal life even. So this is actually communal life. So in front of lifestyle of prehistoric man, you write communal life. Communal life. Yeah. Before showing the answers, please write any blank, complete any blank if you can. People of prehistoric era lived by. What is the two answers? If anyone can write, or say, tell me. People of prehistoric era lived by what and what?
Hunting and roaming.
Hunting and roaming from one place to another, gathering food. So they spend mostly what type of life?
Nomadic lifestyle.
Nomadic life during the holiday. Only in rainy seasons they live in
Natural chaos.
Natural chaos. They lived as small groups because of the problems of finding food. Normally, one group comprised of between how many people?
15 to 25.
15 to 25 members. The maximum number was 50.
50.
An area of how many square
50
meters? Was
square
enough?
meters.
Yeah, 50 square meters was enough for a family of 5 members. The evidences are found from two places, Bandaravela Churchill and Bellandani Palazzo. So others, don't be afraid. I'm going to show you this answer. Okay, right. Right. So now, with seeing the answer slideshow, we'll complete this one. Okay, we'll complete this one. Right. Okay, now you can complete by looking at this, the answers. So lifestyle of prehistoric man, what we are writing in front of that? Communal life. People of prehistoric era lived by hunting and roaming from one place to another, gathering food. So this is the paragraph that you are going to write. So they spent mostly a nomadic life during the whole year. Only in rainy seasons they lived in natural caves. They lived as small groups because of the problem of finding food. So in Sri Lankan forest, the animals were not plenty. Normally one group comprised of between 15 to 25 members. Maximum number was 50. An area of 50 square meters was enough for a family of 5 members. Complete the blanks. So this is the paragraph that you're going to write. Under communal life. Under communal life. Quickly write the answers. Then we can go to the next slide and we can try to complete the lesson today. So the lesson from the beginning we can start next time. If not, we have to spend some time even next day. However, before your term test, I'll be finishing everything, even putting some extra days if needed. Shall I move on? Completed everyone? Yes. Now, this is the example, evidences. I told you when writing answers, mostly you include evidences and examples, you are given more marks. Discovery of evidences about 25 people in an area of 150 square meters from Churchill in Bandarale. Discovery of 30 skeletons from an area of 120 square meters from Bellandani Palace. During the dry seasons, they spent their time in outside camps which they built temporarily in open areas. Now see, writing such a small paragraph is easy, right? You write paragraph form answers, not the point form answers. Raise any question? I'm ready to explain here. So Hani knows these things because he did this with me earlier. Okay, then we'll come to full style. What you can write about the full style of the Stone Age man. Shall I move on?
Okay, sir.
Okay, now. Right, food style. They had consumed both flesh of animals and herbal food items. They had hunted animals such as buffalo, black bear, wild boar, deer, spotted deer, porcupine, rabbits, squirrel, goose, wild fowl, monkey, civet cat, python. Now, are you going to by heart all these names? No. When you write three animals and etc. As buffalo, black bear, wild boar, etc. Enough. Don't try to remember everything. So even they had consumed fresh water fish. Okay. One wanted to see the earlier slide for a while. Give me a 1 minute, okay? I'm just going to the previous one. Though I send you these tools, completed tools, it's better that if you can write all the notes at the time of the class. Otherwise, you will forget to complete if you keep some spaces, blank spaces. So even the people who face the exam this year, they don't have time. Only 5 more months, 20 weeks for the exam. So then your time is very short. Not only history you have a lot of other subjects also. Yeah, the red color things you are writing on your tube. So you're writing this one in this tube. Chaniti, this tube I have sent you. Okay, only you are filling the blanks. Need to get this? It's in the website. Okay, to get starch, they ate some plant food such as wild breadfruit seeds and yams. Mainly. So only red color things are the answers for the blanks. In addition, some food full of starch like such as kitul seeds, kekuna seeds, and kernel of total were eaten. Food had been eaten after being baked. Prehistoric people preferred to eat tree snails and lagoon oysters. There are evidence of using salt from Kitulgala Belivena. So now see, this is a paragraph that you can write about food style. Evidences also you can write. Discovery of oyster shells from Kitulgala Belivena. Those oyster shells were mixed with salt. Discovery of evidences of consumption of baked breadfruit seeds belonging to a time period before 12,000. This is also wrong. It must be 12,500. I have written 125,000. 10 you have to cut down. Shall I make it correct? My one also, otherwise I'm keeping this one. One we need to make it correct. This must be yes. Can Sarah tell me if this food style only given as a question, but are the 3 headings? 3 headings, okay. If you are given a question to write, food style under 3 headings.
Sir, can I say?
Yeah, what will the 3 headings?
Sir, the carbohydrates.
Flesh,
Ah,
plants, and using salt and oysters.
yeah, you write, you get a common heading. Using plant food items. Second, using flesh of animals.
Flesh of animals and salt.
Yeah, you
Sir,
say.
Like-
can't you say carbohydrates, proteins, and
No
the
problem,
salt?
no problem. Even that is also correct. And even using salt as the third one. Good, no? So if it is given as to write under 3 headings, now this is the 2016 question. That's why I asked. 2016, they have given a question to explain the food style of prehistoric man under 3 headings. Then using plant food items or using carbohydrate food, using protein, that means sorry, using food with protein, if not that, using flesh of animals, and using salt is the third. Okay, complete the blanks quickly. Then we can move on to the next one. That is the technology.
So in this example, second one, it should be wild breadfruit seeds and wild plantains, no, sir?
Yeah, even yams you can write, while plantains is better. This one, eh? Yeah, other than yams, no problem. Now next, for the next week also, I'm uploading a YouTube, so print it out before the next week, okay?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ask.
Isn't it 125,000 years?
Which one?
The evidence of consumption of baked breadfruit seeds.
12,500 years.
Then that
That is
man evolved 100.
yeah, that is that 125,000 years is that Iranian formation. So this is
Yes, sir.
12,000. This is 12,500 years. So for those people who face exam this time, ask from me any help, I will do it, okay, for you, because I have to push you forward. So last time also the history paper was harder, marking was harder, results also like that. So then you have to get ready a lot to get a. This is not something easy, right? Okay, after completing, please let me know. I'm waiting for you. So we have to finish some parts of the at least 3/4 of the lesson. If you complete today, out of 70 questions, only half we completed. At least 55 to 60 if we can complete and come for the questions, instead of questions within today, it's easy. Then we can easily do the third lesson. It's not so long like this. That we can finish on time. Finish writing, shall we move on?
Yes, sir.
If anyone still writing, please let me know. Oh, okay, so that we can move. So it's the technology. So see, technology of prehistoric man. Stone tools are the only proof that exists to know about their technology. The stone tools in small size were called geometric micro stone tools. These have been named so because they had been given geometric shape and they are not more than 4.5 centimeters in length. Okay, they use more alabaster and a little of Kahana stones to make them. They are both geometric as well as non-geometric stone tools. Mostly non-geometric stone tools were used. Non-geometric microstone tools were made mostly, and they had been made for cutting, chopping, scratching, and digging. Apart from these, some tools such as hammers and grinding stones had been made using granite. So did I give you in the tube rituals? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
rituals also there. So then if comes the even rituals also may come. So then you can write about that later on. Okay, so write this one first. Rituals also may come, but mostly rituals of Stone Age has not been given to the exam. Okay, then go to the rituals. Rituals can be observed to a certain extent regarding the burials of dead bodies. Such an instance could be evidence from Ravana and the caves in the skull found from there. Rough edges and parts protruded outside had been rubbed, leveled, and painted with brown stones ready cut. Even several parts of skeletons painted with red color brown stones have been discovered from Pahiyangal. Skeletons discovered in a cave called Bellan Belly Palace. Oh, that's wrong. Button on Dombal. So I have done some mistakes. Okay. We'll make it correct. This one. Butter Dombal. Butter Dombal. Lena. Include. The incurvator had been curled and buried. Accordingly, dead bodies were buried, bones were brought back, rough edges and protruded parts of the skull were rubbed against another stone to make them smooth. Grinding down stones was applied on the skull on one side and reburied in shallow pits around the surface. If it is given in the question to write about rituals, this is the paragraph. So then once again we can move on to the short questions before discussing the next three questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Finish completing so that we can move on once again the plot of historic time period. Then that is the second part of the lesson, and from there finishing. Even small part about the early historic time period. Can we move forward? Finish completing blanks? Or you are completing blanks? Or yes. Okay, now I'm going to whiteboard once again. See, Stone Age, protohistoric time period. Now, during 7000 BC to 4500 BC. So this period we call as Holocene era. Holocene era. Entire world had been subjected to a climatic change. What are the climatic change? Ending of the ice age. Ending of the ice age. So now Stone Age was there during the ice age. Ice age had been entered. Why? Increasing world temperature. Increasing world temperature.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, ask.
Sir, did it affect the whole world or only a certain parts of it?
No, entire world. This affected entire world. But the South Asian regions, they became suitable to agriculture. Why? Because now we know that here.
When the equator part?
Yeah, these regions still under snow. These regions still under snow. So this region was under snow, but this region became suitable for agriculture. Okay, even not only South Asia, even in America, when we take American continents, in between that Colombia region, that Brazil region, so that Panama, that region also became suitable. Even in African regions, the North African regions. But we tell here about this region. Okay. So, however, some areas of South Asia, especially South Asian regions, became suitable for agriculture because no snow. Otherwise, during the Stone Age, entire land in the world was covered with snow. So because of that, the lifestyle of the people had been changed. What are the changes? Stone Age, they lived in natural caves. Natural caves. And now they started living in permanent settlements. Permanent settlements. Why? Here, they were using a nomadic life. Now they have to permanently settle in one place to do agriculture. Here they were doing hunting. But now they are doing agriculture. Now they are doing agriculture. So here they are using they started using burnt clay pots. Burnt clay pots, a new technology they discovered. Yes, ask. Using iron tools.
Sir, that
Yes,
means like if they used burnt clay pots, that means did they understand that if they didn't burn the clay pots, that it will break soon or something like that? Did they understand and they burnt, or did it happen gradually?
Yeah, that comes on the clay technology. So when we make something using clay, we cannot keep it for a long time. Burning should be done. First thing they did was what? They just dried the clay pot in the sun and tried to keep it for a long time. But it was not lasting for a long time, easily breakable. So then they understood gradually heating must be done. How heating must be done? By using fire. So then using fire, keeping in the fire, keeping in an oven, they started burning this clay pot. So then it became so permanent, long lasting. So through the experiences only these people, they learned the technology also they understood through the experiences. First they used the sunshine in burning this. Burning is actually drying. So like that, even now these are the main 4 changes in the lifestyle. Discovery of iron, using iron tools. Burn clay pots. No, these were here, not here, but fire was here. So even they adapted to some proper burials by burning the dead bodies. So this is known as protohistoric time. After protohistoric time period, now during this time period, they started permanently settling in one place. So one word used for that is what? Sedentism. So sedentism means what? Permanently settling
establishing permanent settlements
in one place. So then they started that living as villages. When villages were formed, some leadership had come out like that Kamikas and all, Karumakas and all. So that we will learn in the third lesson. That time period is known as early historic time period. Early historic time period. Okay, so only the leaders were there, Kamikas and Karumakas were there, and they were living as villages. Now we are going to think about the proto-historic and early historic time period here from here in the lesson. Okay, now we'll go to the questions then. Because time is flying, so we'll go to the questions because of that. So here. Now, what is called as proto-historic era? The time period that man had more tendency of using herbal food. Why I called it as more tendency? Did they stop using hunting? No, they continued hunting. They ate flesh of animals while doing agriculture. So that's why had more tendency, more tendency. Earlier also they were using plant food items without growing. Okay. What are the two prominent features of this time period? Two prominent features: doing agriculture and settling permanently in one place. The two prominent features. Two prominent features. There are 5 features. Out of those 5, 2 prominent. What is the other name used for this era? Proto-historic Iron Age or New Iron Age. Will be called as New Iron Age. Mention 3 other features of this era other than features mentioned in question 36. Started using burnt clay pots, started using iron tools, and started adopting proper burials. And during what period a climatic change occurred in the South Asian region? Between 7,000 to 4,500 BC. What is the name given that time period? Anyone can answer that? What is the name given this period? Holocene.
Holocene era.
Holocene era. Okay, then 40 questions finished. We'll move on to 41. That's in the next unit. I sent you the third unit. In the third unit, we have from 41. But in from 41, some repeat questions also you can see. So we discussed that also. Then I think we can finish the tutors, only leaving one question, right? So we can finish the other. So only 70 questions, 40 finished, 30 will be there. Shall I move on to the next one? Did you completed writing this one? Everyone
Yes,
finished?
sir.
Yeah. You didn't finish now? If anyone not finished, let me know. No, so that means we can go. Okay, I'm moving to the third tube then. Third tube is there. This one. Okay, the third tube. What is known as, once again, we have started from there. So these questions, once again, repeated questions. Quickly write the answers for them. Repeated 5 questions. What is known as proto-historic period? But a new question is there. What was the reason for the above changes of the lifestyle? The climatic change experience ending the ice age.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ask.
Sir, if they ask a main reason to start agriculture, should we say climatic change or increase in population?
Climatic change. Even though increase in population came after that. Population started increasing after starting agriculture. Before that, their population was less because food scarcity was there. So then you must write that starting agriculture.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Now see here. What regions of Sri Lanka provides clear evidences on proper historic time period? Northeastern part of Sabaragamuwa province and southwestern part of Uva province. So once in an MCQ, they have asked this one. What regions clearly show the evidences about proto-historic man? This question, if they ask what are the time periods of Stone Age and proto-historic era, how can we write? Stone Age from before 120, no, I will write it. This is before 125,000 years to 1800 BC. Okay, see the board. This one before 125,000 BC to 1800 BC, Stone Age. Protohistoric time period from 450 BC to 300 AD. So that's a time period. So that I have given here, I think. In a future question, that will be there. In a future question, see that. What were the three types of burials used by protohistoric man? Later burials, urn burials, and cyst burials. Now the second question is about burials. Now I'm going to explain about the burials after writing this, and we'll go to that question. So about the burial, the question about the burials is mostly given, so that we can just have a kind of probability of coming. Right, what are these burials? Now we'll write the places of finding evidences and then we'll discuss. Name two places Name two places from where clay tub burials are found. Nikavala in Duanwell and Kalotua in Attanaganda. Name three places where evidences on cis burials are found. Ippankatu burial in Galevilla, Galsohon Kanata in Yapahua, and Yatigal Kota burial. After writing this, we'll discuss about the burials of proper historic time. So those who did not join the group, please send me a WhatsApp message to with your name to add the group. My number once again, I'm just sending you. Then I can add you to the group, and to the group I can upload these completed views, because in the website there are no slots, only few slots are there. I can't upload everything to that. Okay, I'm going to the whiteboard then to discuss about the three types of burials of the proto-historic man. Now this is different, so don't mix it up. Stone Age man we discussed. Next Stone Age we discussed that the digging a small pit inside the ground, so inside the cave, keeping the dead body and covering it with garbage. So the second type is that burying outside, bringing back the bones. The skull had been rubbed against another stone and made it smooth, applying the grinded brown stones on one side of the skull, reburying. So that is Stone Age. Now this is proto-historic time period. The first one is clay tub burial. So in clay tub burials, what they have done? First buried. So buried was there. So they buried the dead bodies. Even like in the last method of the Stone Age, they kept these dead bodies for that decay. After 3 months, like once again, the bones were brought back. Bones were brought back. So after bringing the bones, only the bones, so they buried the dead body. Bones are brought back. They made a clay basin like this. They made a clay basin. So this is a clay basin. Keeping some holes like this. Why? For ventilation. So this shows that this proto-historic man knew that oxygen, actually not oxygen, they didn't know about any oxygen. Air was needed for burning. Air was needed for burning. So this is fully clay basin. And keeping the bones here, the broad back bones, they were keeping inside. Covering this with a lid. Clay lid they were making it. With the clay lid they are covering. For the clay lid also they are fixing a clay tube. So what is the use of this clay tube? Once again for ventilation. Now only the bones were kept inside, not the dead body. Then once again the entire thing had been burned. Entire clay basin had been burned. So after burning, so these bones are not fully burned inside this neck. The remainings are there. What did they do for the remainings? The remainings they were keeping in a clay pot and keeping aside. Now the first person they did this method and this is the first person's remainings. Remainings after burning of the first person. Even the second person, when the second person died, also the same thing happened. Dead body buried, bones are not back, bones are keeping inside the same basin, and remainings they were keeping inside the clay pot. The second person. Third person also the same thing happened. For the fourth person also the same thing happened. So after doing this for the 4 people, like now you cannot use this same clay basin while it had been cracked now and destroyed now. Okay. Now, after that, what do they do? All these clay pots they keep inside this. So the inside this clay basin now, how many pots? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 5, maybe 6. You can't say exactly. Maybe 2 also. And entire thing, this thing had been buried. Understood? Any question regarding this plate of burials?
Excuse me, sir.
Us.
That means they cremated it.
I did not hear you properly.
The cremation process is done, right?
Yeah, this is the cremation process. First,
Okay, sir. So that means that means they might have a method, no, sir, that they identified that the holes are needed for the oxygen and all.
yeah, here that's why they kept these holes and the clay tube, fixing clay tube. So first they buried the dead body. After keeping for 3 months, like after decaying, the bones are brought back. Bones are kept inside this clay basin,
Okay.
making a clay basin. Inside that the bones and the skull and everything. And then they were keeping some holes when making this clay basin. So fixing a clay tube for the lid and burning the entire thing. So then the inside things also burn. So then the remainings are there. The remainings they are keeping in a clay pot and keeping aside. For the second person, the same process. Second person's remaining. Third person's remaining. Fourth person's remaining. After that, now you cannot use this for the next person. This is a common burial, a common something. So common container. So after that, keeping everything inside this and burying the entire structure. Now I think understood. No, this much of information is not given in your textbook also. So now this you have explained the method. When we come to urn burials, nothing happened like this. Just the dead body. Dead body was burnt. The remainings were kept in a clay pot. And the clay pot was buried underground. So that's finished. Very primitive. Now, this is also really primitive. Now, the second method. Dead body was burnt without keeping inside this. Remainings were kept inside the pot. Pots were buried underground. In the cyst burials, the same process had gone. Dead body was burnt. Dead body was burnt. Remainings are kept in the clay pot. Now the clay pots are kept inside properly prepared graves. Now see, this is a grave. So using stone splinters, they have made this grave inside that they will keep in the clay pot. This is like two feet like, not that much of long. So like 2 feet, 2 feet, covering it with a large granite slab. So this is cyst burials. Now understood. In these two methods, the difference is here only the clay pot with the remainings just buried underground. Here in a properly prepared grave, they were keeping it. Understood? Any question? Sir.
So in the clay tub burials, after the bones were burnt and kept inside the pots, were the pots kept outside or was it kept in the tub itself, sir?
This was keeping inside the tub until the next person dies. Then, when the next person dies, only they keep it out. Using this one for the second person. Now there are 2 clay pots. Keeping inside and keeping for the next person to die. So until they can use it for the next person, they are keeping this one as a common sample. So in Muslims also that you can see there's a common container that they are using, but it is not burnt. So here it is burning. So because of that, after 4 people or 5 people, once again it cannot be used for the further person. Next person. Now understood?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Janit is asking to explain this one once again. Dead body was buried underground, keeping it for decay. After that, flesh part is decayed. Bones are remaining. So bones are brought back. Now they are making a clay basin like this using clay, raw clay, keeping the bones inside. Even that making a lid. For the lid also fixing a clay tube. And in this container also keeping some holes for ventilation and burning. Entire structure burning. After burning, what will happen? The remainings are there. Everything is not fully burned. So the remainings they are keeping here. For the second person died, also the same thing happened, and the second person's remaining, third person's remaining, fourth person's remaining. After that, all these clay pots were kept inside the same clay basin. Why? This cannot be used furthermore because this is cracked. And now entire 4 or 5 or 6 maybe 8. We can't say the exact amount until this is destroyed, it is done. So entire structure will be buried underground. Okay. Now we go to a question from that. Okay. So take your question too. In the question you have this question. See, protohistoric man. Okay. Now we are discussing 2 questions, but before that we'll discuss the third question, burials of protohistoric. So we'll discuss the third one first before the second one. Okay. Okay, no, never mind. We'll discuss the second one also. This is a question very rarely given. So normally about protohistoric man, no question had been given until now. So rare question, but it's a possible question. So this is not A4 actually, it must be A2 for you. Nature of settlements of protohistoric time period. People abandoned their hunting livelihood and built permanent settlements. Major evidence related to housing is remnants of houses that have been. No, we'll go to this next question, and we'll come after doing the short questions. Okay, the burials. Third question. You go to the third question. This is the third question. Burials. That is page number 4. A3 burials. Huh? Now these are the. This is about the burials. Right. So clay tub burials. According to dating, clay tub burials are the oldest. They were made using raw clay in a shape of a clay basin.
Sir, then isn't it a clay boat or something?
Yeah, clay basin, clay boat. So boat means actually, though we call it as a boat, we don't use it to travel in the water. So even basin, boat, nothing, no problem. After selecting the appropriate clay type, the walls of the tomb had been made perpendicularly to the ground using proper measurements, like the width and the height. Some holes had been made or a clay tube had been fixed for the ventilation. Clay tub burials are found from. Now here actually you can write the method also. So I have not written the method here. So the method you have to include. Shall we include the method also? Okay, I'm going to, but then, yeah, then the problems comes because the method is that part for to write that part, space is not there. Okay, for the moment, write this. Fill these blanks. Remember, for this you have to add the method also. What is the method? Dead bodies are burned. Sorry, buried. Bones are brought back. Bones are cremated inside the clay basin. Remainings are kept in clay pots. Clay pots were deposited inside the clay basin and buried. That 4 steps you have to write. I'll be writing that one on the board. So you just write it somewhere. The method of the clay tub burials. So in a place where the space is, please write the 5 steps. These 5 steps, please write near this clay tub barriers. Now you have here. Okay, here also no problem. So here also no problem. Write these 5 steps there, so that you can include to this one, the method. So here I have explained mostly the technology. So then you can just write this method also near to that. Dead bodies are buried, bones are brought back, bones were cremated in clay pots, remainings were kept in clay pots were deposited in clay pots and buried. This is also a past paper question given in 2 times to explain the 3 types of burials of protohistoric man. Finish writing, so we have only 20 minutes. So I'm fighting with the time. Okay? So I want to finish this today, but I know that I can't. We have to do as hard as possible. Then we will be leaving only a few portions to be discussed next time.
Done, sir.
Okay, so after this, we'll discuss all these questions, okay, the short questions. Then we can leave only 2 questions to be done next time, the essay type questions. So then that we can do within 30 minutes or 20 minutes, time period, no? Okay, now see, we did only cyst burials, no, that all burials. So the cyst burials are there. These burials were even belonging to megalithic burials. In this method, also dead bodies were burnt. The remainings were deposited in clay pots. These clay pots were deposited in properly prepared burials where walls had been mounted with stone splinters. After depositing clay pots, they were covered with stone slabs. Evidences are found from Ibankato megalithic burial. Galsaon Kanate Yapawa Yatigal Kota burial in Palestine. So 2 essay type questions we finished. So I gave some extra writing for the first one because the method I have not written there. But the technology I have written, how the clay tubs, clay boards were made. That technology is actually needed for when writing a question about the technology of protohistoric man. These are the possible 4 questions, even given in grade 10 or grade 11. No more questions can be given. Okay, because history cannot be changed. No, history is history. No one can change it. Even the professor cannot change it and give new questions. So only 4 questions from the second lesson. Exactly. If you get ready for these 4 questions, you are okay with even O level, even term test. So I will show you in past papers how they have given the questions. After doing this, then you can see what are the questions they have given until now. So then you can be sure about this tubes and all. Okay, shall we move on to the short questions then? You wrote this, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, then moving. If anyone could not write, please tell me, okay? So I have to teach not only one or two for everyone. Okay, now in this one, we just finished up to the 49. We'll try to finish. Okay, we'll try to finish this 70 questions today itself. One wanted to see once again. So at least if we can finish 70 questions here, completing that tube, that means successful. Target was finishing the entire second lesson, but never mind. So third lesson we are starting next week. Most probably more than half we will be finishing next week. And yeah, we can go in order. So every lesson 1.5 days. That is our target. Okay, now Janiti. Okay, so we'll go to this one. Questions. Right. What was Udaranchammadam house? When was Udaranchammadam house built? So this was the only remaining of a house built during protohistoric time. Udaranchammadam house. The remainings of the house in Udaranchammadam settlement. Now see. Now this was built in 1129 BC. How was it? The Udaranchammadam house. Only that we have the foundation. But according to the foundation, we just had an animation of this house. So only we have the foundation. So the foundation was like this. So it was this one 6.8 meters and this 10.2 meters. Okay, width and length of the found house. We consider every house is like this. But however, square shaped foundation embedding stones. So embedding large stones and applying mud on it. So that's how they have made a strong foundation. So this means what? They knew that if they don't lay a strong foundation, it would be sinking. That was the technology that they had, that they know. Making a strong foundation. So by embedding stones. But they have discovered some holes like this. Some holes like this. It is imagined that here that the holes have been fixed. Holes up have been fixed. Now see like this. These are holes. So if the holes have been fixed here, they have made a house like this. They have made a house like this. Okay. So here this is an open room at the front with short walls. Here short walls are there. Okay. So then there's a rear room with high walls. High walls, short walls. So the front room is with short walls. And the two rooms have been joined through a door. See, this is the door. The places where the door frame had been fixed. So there was a door here. Okay, joining the two rooms. Why two rooms? During the daytime, they have to stay here because it's very hot. So during night time, they will stay here. So they have thatched this with reeds. And how the walls have been made? Walls have been made perpendicularly to the ground. So that is also a kind of technology that they are knowing. That wattle and dog walls. What are wattle and dog walls? So they were making a structure like this using sticks. And after that, they are making mud balls. These mud balls are fixed here. Okay. After fixing these mud balls, they apply mud on this. So this is wattle and dog walls. We call this as what? This as what? Wattle and dog walls. Why wattle? Structure is here. Internal structure made with sticks. then making mud balls and fixing mud balls and applying mud on them. So wattle and dog walls perpendicular to the ground, and on that the roof touched with pillow. There were two rooms, one front room with short walls, one rear room with high walls, joining with the door. So this is the small house of Udarancha Mandama. Okay, the initial houses. Understood or any question? Understood. Right. Okay, so this house had been built in 1129 BC. And what had been discovered among Udarancha Mandama ruins?
Iron tools.
Yes, a number of potsherds. That means they were using burnt clay pots, painted potsherds. Some iron and stone tools. Good. Even stone tools, they have not abandoned that stone tools. Bones of some animals and equipment used for the beauty culture of women. So the women, they have used some tools like iron sticks to apply kohl on eyes, and some brown stones to apply on the skin, and even that clay beads using as necklace. Some equipment that these girls were using for beauty culture. What was the evidence about beauty culture of women found from Udarancha Mandama house? Discovery of some tools and brown stones used to color the body and to apply colonize. I am taking this one. Front, okay. Okay. Discover some tools to apply kohl on ice and brown stones used to color the body. What were the special features that can be seen in houses made by protohistoric man? Foundation has been laid strongly by embedding stones and applying mud. Making wattle and dog walls perpendicular to the ground. Then what is the duration of early historic time? Once again, the question asked by Sarna, 450 BC to 300 AD. Okay, then what factors influencing the spread of settlements in early historic time period? So they were doing agriculture. To do agriculture, what is needed? Fertile soil, good climatic conditions, good geographical conditions must be there. So those factors they considered. They did not find any schools for their children, okay, and good broad networks and highways they did not check. So we have to write it. I am not taking that. So we'll write that answer. What factors influence in the spread of settlements in early? Oh, before that, we'll go to a question, big question, because here that settlements, okay, right. So then we'll complete this question. So that's better. In your question, you will complete the second question. So this one. So this one. Protohistoric time. So I told you this is a question that comes very rarely. Okay, now we'll write the probability. This is having the highest probability. This question is having the highest probability of coming. Then this question is having the second highest probability, A4. So I just write on the board. So A1 is having very high probability. A2 is having very less probability. A3 is having bit higher probability. A4 is having once again very high probability. So this is how the questions have come in exam. A1 and A4 regularly has come. A3, A2. This is having less probability, but a possible question. That's why I gave you. This question I gave you to learn about the life of the protohistoric man. Even in front of these questions, you put the probability. Put the probability. 3 correct marks, 3 correct marks, 1, 2. Yeah, Asian continent is having the oldest history accordingly, but Imara, the first man had been originated where? In Germany. So the first man. So then we can say Germany, the Europe is also having the very old history. Okay, like Asian countries. So the oldest man had been born where? In Germany, Neanderthal. After that, only to Asia it came, that Indonesia, Java. So the third man Peking, China man. Last person was Palangoda man. Okay, now we'll go discuss that question, otherwise taking time. Okay, this question. Okay, we'll discuss the second question now. Second question. Right, so this one. Protohistoric man, nature of settlements. A2, though I have mentioned say A4, this is some other presentation. A2, nature of settlements, lifestyle. Nature of settlements of protohistoric time period. People abandoned their hunting livelihood and built permanent settlements. In your dude, what question here? I will show you the question. This one. See, A2, page number 2, page number 3. Major evidence related to housing is remnants of houses that have been discovered from Udarajamadava settlement in Ratnapur district. Size 10.2 meters to 6.8 meters. Shape rectangular shape. Foundation made with strewing large stones and applying clay on it. Walls wattle and dove walls perpendicular to the ground. Roof thatched with iluk. Rooms, an open room with short walls and a rear room with high walls. Kitchen, a hut at the back of the house. Finished writing, so we have to move on quickly. Finish now? Shall I move on to the next
Yes,
slide?
sir.
Yes, we'll move on to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay. The lifestyle of prehistoric man. In Ugrajamalam, a house built around 3129 years ago, year 1129 BC. That means we added these 2000. So then 3129 years ago, a number of potsherds were discovered. Many were painted potsherds according to the manner in which lines in pots that were painted, it might be made by using potter's wheel. Several tools in the kitchen were found. Some were stone tools and some were iron tools. Using iron tools had been a new experience. Bones found from the house shows that although they got used to an agricultural lifestyle, they did not completely abandon hunting. So the both they were doing hunting and agriculture. Few clay beads and an iron stick used to apply coal on ladies' eyes. 2 brown stones used to color the body and 2 grinding stones to rub the brown stones had been found. That show that the women were living during that period were interested in beautifying their body. Oh, okay. Complete the blanks. So this is the lifestyle. So don't pay that much of attention on this question. I told you it rarely comes. So I gave you this question to discuss about the life of the proto-historic man. Mainly you focus on the first and the fourth questions. They are regularly coming for the exams. Finish now, writing. So then we will be leaving only one question and few short questions within 20 minutes. Like next day we can finish it. Okay. So then I'm moving to the next slide. Moving. Technology of proto-historic man. Beginning of the metal technology and making clay pots can be regarded as the new technology adapted in this field as a result of using iron. They could do their day-to-day activities efficiently. Iron was a strong metal and could be used in clearing forest and the town. The painted clay pots found from Udaranchamadam show the high technological standard of making clay pots. The clay beads found shows the technology of making beads existed. They have used a high and advanced technology in building houses. Setting the foundation in a way that sinking does not happen and building walls perpendicular to the ground. Complete the blanks. So next day I will show you the past paper questions from 2016 to last year, the second question, and we'll discuss with you what the questions have come and what we discussed, and then you can make sure that the questions that we discussed were the only questions that had been given. No new questions, oh no, nothing is there. It's other than the questions that we discussed. Every time the same, from the same set of questions, questions are selected by the professor to make the question. So normally they ask a set of questions. Out of this set of questions, they select randomly some questions and add. But by looking at the previous papers. Okay, shall I move on to the next slide? Okay, so that is the question. So I think we have discussed it. Now see, we discussed the first question. Then we discussed the second question here. Up to this. And even we discussed the third. So we are keeping only this for the next step. And we are keeping the short questions from 55 to 70. Okay, so up to this one. So that means we are keeping only a small portion for the next week. Okay, so then our time is over. So there may be some other classes for you. So I will stop on time. So that's normally my method. So then we'll discuss this part and we'll start the third lesson next week. And I'll be uploading a new tube, most probably new 2 tubes, okay, to you. And download them and get printouts and get ready. Then only you can write answers. Those who did not join the group, please send me messages now to join you in the group. And to the group, I'll be uploading the completed tubes. Okay, yeah, I'll be uploading to the group the completed tubes with answers. So then anyone who missed anything, they can complete by looking at that. Okay, so please send me messages. Right? Shall we stop the class then? Finish the class for the day. Okay, then good afternoon and God bless.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Good
Stay safe.
afternoon, sir. Thank
God
you,
bless
sir.
you,
God
sir.
bless you too, sir.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon and God bless.